Listen closely. That's the sound of your soul leaving your body. It's Friday, 4:58 p.m., and you're one mouse click away from freedom. One mouse click away from a margarita, a Netflix binge, or just sleeping without your phone under your pillow like some kind of on-call surgeon. Then, ping, the notification that makes your stomach drop. The pointy-haired boss has arrived with a mission-critical task that apparently can't wait 60 hours for Monday morning. He tells you no. He assures you that if the client doesn't have this deck by Monday morning, the entire company might implode, the quarterly results will tank, investors will flee, the CEO will cry, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. So what do? Like the dutiful corporate soldier you've been conditioned to be, you cancel your weekend. You tell your friends you can't make it to the barbecue. You disappoint your family. Again. You spend Sunday night in a caffeine-induced fever dream, watching Excel cells blur together at 1 a.m. while your dog judges you from the corner. You finally hit send at 2 a.m., feeling like a hero, like you just saved the company, like you deserve a medal or at least a fruit basket. Then, Monday morning comes, and silence. Deafening silence. No response, no thank you, no acknowledgement of your sacrifice to the altar of corporate urgency. So you check the document history, because of course you do, because anxiety is now your primary operating system, and you realize your boss didn't even open the file until Thursday, 4 days later. That urgent, company-saving, investor-pleasing, career-defining presentation sat in his inbox like digital tumbleweed, while you sacrificed your mental health, your relationships, and 48 hours you'll never get back. You didn't work through a crisis. You worked through a lie. Welcome back to the Workplace Satirist. I'm your host, and if you're new here, buckle up, because today we're pulling back the curtain on the biggest scam in corporate America, the urgent deadline. That mythical creature that preys on your guilt, weaponizes your competence, and somehow always appears right when you're about to have a life. Let's dive in. Now, let's talk about the performance of management. See, in a broken corporate culture, and let's be honest, most of them are broken, managers treat urgent deadlines like Michael Scott treats bankruptcy. Remember that scene? He just walks into the office and shouts, "I declare bankruptcy!" as if the laws of physics and finance will just stop applying. That's what happens with deadlines. If they shout it loud enough, if they mark it high priority in blood-red font, they think reality will bend to their will. But here's the translation key that nobody gives you in orientation. When a manager says mission-critical synergy, what they actually mean is, I forgot to do this 3 weeks ago when it was assigned to me, and now I'm making it your emergency so I don't look incompetent in front of my boss. When they say urgent stakeholder alignment, they mean, I have a meeting in 2 hours and I need something to talk about because I haven't done anything productive all week. It's corporate translation, and once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. These unhinged deadlines aren't born from market needs or client demands. They're born from management's deep existential need to perform. Think about it. What does a middle manager actually do all day? If they're not creating artificial urgency, what justifies that 6-figure salary? A manager who isn't visibly cracking the whip starts to worry that someone in finance might notice they're unnecessary, so they manufacture drama. They create fire drills. They turn a PowerPoint presentation into a life or death scenario, even if that presentation is just 40 slides of corporate buzzwords that are scientifically proven to be complete nonsense. Now let's discuss something truly insidious, the buffer zone. This is management's secret weapon. Your boss gives you a Friday deadline, but you eventually discover the presentation isn't until Wednesday. Or the client isn't reviewing it until next month. Or, and this is my favorite, there is no client at all. It's an internal deck that will be glanced at for 90 seconds and then buried in a SharePoint folder that hasn't been opened since 2019. Why do they do this? Because they don't trust you. They assume you're like Wally from Dilbert, that legendary engineer who has elevated doing absolutely nothing to a fine art. Wally figured out decades ago that in a broken system, being efficient is just volunteering for exploitation. So he became a master of looking busy while accomplishing zero. And you know what? In a toxic workplace, Wally is the rational actor. He's not lazy, he's economically optimized. But here's the irony, the beautiful, tragic irony. If you're a competent person in a broken system, being efficient doesn't get you rewarded, it gets you punished. You turn in that project early? Congratulations! Your reward is 3 more projects while your original work sits unread in your boss's inbox for 72 hours. You solve a problem faster than expected? Great! Here are 5 more problems, because clearly you have spare time. Meanwhile, the person who barely meets deadlines gets left alone because management assumes they're already at capacity. It's what I call the competence trap. The better you are at your job, the more invisible labor you're expected to absorb. You become the person everyone relies on for quick favors that take 3 hours. You become the fixer, the go-to, the one who just gets it done, which sounds like a compliment until you realize it's actually a life sentence. And the worst part, the system makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries. Like you're the problem for not wanting to work unpaid overtime to fix someone else's lack of planning. Let's move on to corporate jargon. The linguistic smoke and mirrors designed to hide pointless busywork. Pivotal stakeholder alignment just means we're having a meeting that should have been an email. Strategic bandwidth reallocation means you're doing 2 jobs now for the same salary because we laid off your coworker. And my personal favorite, synergistic value optimization through agile pivoting, is just an expensive way to say we have no idea what we're doing, but we're doing it loudly. Now let's talk about the economics of this urgency theater. Let's do some math, the kind your company hopes you won't do. They demand you work 60-hour weeks for an urgent product launch. You're salaried, so those extra 20 hours? Free labor. Then annual review comes, and they offer you a 5% raise. Sounds decent, right? Except inflation is running at 6%, which means your raise is actually a pay cut in real terms. You're literally paying to work there. It's the ultimate subscription model, except you're the product. And let's address the elephant in the server room, AI. Companies are demanding your loyalty, your nights, your weekends, while simultaneously exploring whether an AI agent can do your job for 3 cents per task. They want you to treat every minor deliverable like it's a matter of life and death, while they're literally calculating whether a language model can replace you by Q3. It's like being in a relationship with someone who's actively swiping on dating apps while telling you you're the one. The cognitive dissonance is almost impressive. So, how do you survive this? How do you navigate a system that's designed to extract maximal value while giving you minimum respect? First, steal a page from the Smart Employees Handbook. When they drop an urgent bomb on you, show them the math. Say, absolutely, I can prioritize this. Which of my other 3 urgent tasks should move to priority 4? Watch them short-circuit in real time, because suddenly they have to acknowledge that everything can't be urgent. Reality has entered the chat. Second, remember this fundamental law of the universe. HR is not your friend. I know they have the word human in the title. I know they talk about culture and wellness and work-life balance. But HR exists to protect the company from you, not you from the company. Saying HR is not your friend is like saying gravity exists. It's just physics. It's not personal. It's just how the system works. They're risk management in business casual. Third, and this is crucial, that urgent deadline is not your emergency. Companies are surprisingly flame retarded. They don't actually burst into flames when a PowerPoint is delayed by 24 hours. The market doesn't collapse. Investors don't flee. The sun still rises. What usually happens is nothing. Absolutely nothing. The meeting gets rescheduled. The deck gets reviewed later. Life goes on. And yet, they'll still manufacture the next crisis because the theater must go on. So here's what I want you to take away from this. If you've ever sacrificed your mental health for a task that ended up in the digital trash can, if you've ever canceled plans because of an urgent deadline that wasn't actually urgent, if you've ever felt like you're stuck on a hamster wheel, powered by someone else's poor planning, Drop a comment below. Share your story. Let's build an archive of corporate absurdity together. And if you found this helpful, or at least cathartic, hit that subscribe button. We're documenting the mundane satire of modern work life, one broken deadline at a time, because someone needs to say it. Someone needs to point out that the emperor has no clothes, and also his quarterly projections are completely made up. This is the Workplace Satirist, reminding you that if everything is a priority, nothing is. Guard your time, question the urgency, and for the love of all that is holy, take your lunch break. Seriously, this video is over. I'm done. You're done. We're all done. Now go, be free.